spent the last 20 years analyzing the global restaurant business from the inside out. I've studied the consumer habits and actions that feed this business every day. Innovation is found in places where few might look. It's where the real heartbeat of the restaurant business lies. Sometimes it's beneath the known Michelin stars or the glitz and the glamour of the posh addresses of the best restaurant districts in the business. We all face the same thing every day, and that's finding the best value for what we want. I'm Paul Barron, and this is my show, and I'm in search of amazing food, stellar service, and that unforgettable experience. Welcome to Table 42.
Howdy.
Hey Johnny, how's it going?
I'm well, Paul. How are you?
I'm good. So what's the specialty tonight?
Cherry Bounce. Delicious, refreshing bourbon cocktail.
I gotta love that.
Oh, here we go. All right, Paul.
All
There
right.
we are. Cherry
Nice.
Bounce.
I like this.
Salute, guys.
So Johnny, let's talk a little bit about the bar.
Yeah.
Tell me kind of the history.
Dates to 1907. Been a continually operating saloon since 1907.
Interesting. So is this some of the original?
This is all original. The back bar, the bar here. Most of the woodwork in the place is all original as well.
The history.
Yeah, we've had it for almost 3 years now. Did a complete restoration whenever we took it over.
I like it.
Yeah, the rest is history.
And the popular drinks here at Comstock.
All classic cocktails. Yeah, the entire front page is a classic. This one is an interpretation of a colonial drink, actually, a bottled cocktail of sorts. And we based our recipe loosely off of Martha Washington's recipe as well.
I like it. So this was ordered often?
Very often. Yeah, and of all of the
Big
classic
winner.
drinks that we have on the menu, that would be the one that you probably would only find here. Because like I said, it's our interpretation, a pretty loose interpretation of a very old drink. So.
Beautiful. We gotta try this.
Cool, right on. Cheers, man.
So Carlo, we are here at Comstock Saloon in San Francisco, California, and you are the master behind this menu here.
Yeah.
And how it all connects. First of all, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I'm the chef here. We opened about 3 years ago. I actually go by the term Grub Slinger. It's
I
kind
like
of like
it.
an old-timey chuck wagon kind of term for cook.
Interesting. And the idea behind what you guys serve here is a bit different. It's kind of a much more eclectic style menu than what you might catch in other restaurants.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, this place is very much known for its cocktails. I mean, it's called the Comstock Saloon for a reason. The cocktails here are delicious, and they all have a style that's kind of pre-prohibition style,
Yep.
which is a very simple, classic recipes to drinks. You know, you'll see a lot of Manhattans and plays off that, martinis and whatnot. Kind of like Martinez is one example. That's the precursor to the martini. That's something that we serve here. So the food tries to reflect that, both in the sense of being historically rooted and also food that kind of complement these really hearty, spirituous drinks.
Right, San Francisco is kind of known for its history and its connection to food and
Yeah.
cocktails. Of course, the martini is born here.
Right.
Do you find that a connection for the patrons that come in? Is that how
Definitely.
they kind of connect to this whole thing?
Well, this space was built right after the earthquake, like 1907, 1908. And so San Francisco and the West Coast is really kind of like a young part of the country. And so you don't see buildings that are that old. I
Right.
mean, like in the West Coast, in San Francisco, 40 years, it's like, oh my God, that's so old. Here, this building's over 100 years old.
Interesting.
And so there's a sense of like really connecting to the Barbary Coast history of San Francisco.
Right.
We try to reflect that in the food using a lot of iconic California ingredients, artichokes, garlic, Dungeness crabs, things like that, that really reflect Northern California from a historical perspective.
Is there anything that you put into how you prepare menu items, or different ways of maybe that you style your food versus, say, another restaurant?
That's kind of the difference. Is we're open starting from 4 o'clock until 2 in the morning.
Right.
So we're kind of hitting a lot of different
day
crowds,
parts,
different people coming in for after like work, happy hour, coming in for a quick bite before going somewhere else for dinner, coming here for dinner, and then maybe a snack afterwards as well.
Oh, wow.
So the menu is really situated for a lot of different people to come in.
Yeah.
We have a lot of snacks, a lot of things on toast that are really nice, just like a little bite to eat after work with a drink, or you can have a full-on dinner here as well.
Yeah.
Kind of like whatever you need, you can come here and find it.
Is there a specialty of the house that you really like to prepare for people?
The Hangtown toast is very popular.
Okay.
It's pickled eggs, oyster dressing, and bacon. It's kind of our play off the Hangtown fry.
Gotcha.
We're also known for our pot pies. Right now we're doing a fisherman's pie, so it's kind of like a seafood pot pie, kind of inspired by like an English seafood pie, where we use Dungeness crab, locally smoked trout. We kind of change it up right now depending upon local fish. Right now I believe we're doing swordfish, but we've also done petrale sole and local rock cod as well.
Oh, interesting,
Yeah, so-
interesting. So you really do tie it into the local sourcing.
As much as we can,
components.
yeah.
Is that something of a trend that you see consumers, guests, people that are really looking for
People
kind of a
ask
connection?
about it. Yeah, people want to know. I think we're really fortunate being in Northern California, where you find a lot of great producers, great farms. There's just so much there that we can take advantage of. I would rather not list it, and people are asking, where did you get this pork from, or this broccoli, where can I find it? I would rather have the conversation with them and tell them exactly where it's from, rather than try and broadcast it.
That's a really interesting approach, because a lot of restaurants are kind of going that sourcing route and really kind of creating that signature or that local connection to whether the source product is, it's a protein or a vegetable from that particular region. And I see a lot of restaurants that are actually still doing that, so it's kind of cool that you guys are trying to engage with the customer differently.
It's a conversation point.
That's neat.
Totally.
Yeah. First of all, thanks, man, for letting us come into Comstock Saloon and really learn a little bit about this whole concept you got going here.
Absolutely. Glad to have you down.
The thing that I find here is, just with the bar, it's bustling, obviously. How do you take an old-time saloon and put it in a modern-day world? What's the connection there?
It's about understanding the idea that saloon culture has just continued for 100 years. You had a little prohibition break, but it's the idea that a saloon is just a gathering place for people, and it should be that first and foremost. Cocktails, food, all of that aside, it should be you come in, you have a good time with your friends, with your family, whatever it is, or just with your bartender, with your server, and that's what we're always shooting for first, and then the rest of it just kind of follows suit. It's about providing just kind of a reprieve from whatever's happening out in the rest of the world.
And Jeff, when you look at Comstock, you guys have been around for how long now?
About 3 years.
3 years. What was the inspiration behind starting this saloon? You had an old saloon in an iconic location here in San Francisco. What came up with the idea to go this route?
Space.
Beautiful.
You come in here, bar was here, the bar's been here for 100 years, the back bar's been here for 100 years. You walk in, it just lives and breathes Barbary Coast. It feels like old San Francisco, because it is.
Right.
So everything else, what we decided to do really was just because of the space. Everything was dictated by the space. It wasn't that we were looking all over the city and saying we want to do an old-timey thing, we were just going to plug it in wherever we went. It just felt right to come in here and do it. Like, you can't come in here and do anything. I don't think you can come in here and do anything but that.
Yeah.
So just pay homage to the history of it.
Right.
and
A
everything
lot
else
of
falls in line.
restaurants are, they try to force something into places and or spaces that just don't fit. Obviously, what you guys have done here is like a glove, around what the magic is of Comstock. So thanks so much for letting us come in tonight and crash your saloon.
It's never a crash. It's always a party.
The good thing is I'm not getting kicked out of here.
Exactly. Give it time.